gotta have the warrant in my hand, Jimmy. You hear that? It's a negative.
You don't have it.
The original idea for Exodus of Charlie Wright came from when I saw the Bernie Madoff scandal and that broke. Basically, it was such an interesting story to see a guy who had stolen so much money. He had given himself up for the sake of his family, but I always thought, how interesting would it be if he would have run away, you know? Who would be looking for him? Who would be trying to figure out how to get their money? Who might think he still has money left? So I wanted to explore what it would be for someone to be looked for and chased by a lot of different people, and then at the same time, in this case, Charlie Wright, of course, is going through a personal journey which kind of complicates the whole thing.
This is the story of a man that's leaving. He's literally leaving the country, and metaphorically he's leaving, well, you'll see what happens, but he has some unfinished business. So this film has mixed messages and meanings. The characters are very deep, and you really get into the relationships and the nuances of these people.
He's a Russian, but Charlie Wright took him for about $100 million. You're safe with me. Nobody can touch you. Not the feds, bounty hunters, enemies, no one. Enemies?
Well, I think it's, you know, kind of a real challenge to exciting idea to take the life of someone who perpetrated a gigantic Ponzi scheme and to trying to figure out what his final days were like while he's on the run, while he has the FBI, the Russian mobs, drug lords, everyone after him to get back their money. This movie tries to tell a story that is, you know, with a lot of fascinating characters and wonderful actors like wonderful Andy Garcia and Danny Pino and Marianne Van Peebles, and the list goes on, all with compelling characters. So, you know, it was an interesting story, not the kind of story you come across every day as an actor.
The ocean. It's cleansing. You won't be able to live without it.
Characters had a complexity to them, almost like a poetry to them. And all the main characters seemed to be at this old soul transition in their lives, transitioning from the young soul mentality of, you know, money's life's report card and he who dies with the most toys wins, into maybe a different place where they're wondering, you know, there's got to be more to this. And all of them seem to be in that sort of thing of redefining success, taking stock of their lives and making some sort of change in their lives. And, you know, so you've got actors that have lived a little bit. You've got Andy Garcia, you've got me, you've got Aidan Quinn, you've got Corbin Bernsen. And so they all bring this sort of texture and you know, we're all, you know, lived enough to get the joke, and we're young enough to still laugh at it and laugh at ourselves in it. So we're all sort of, you know, woven together, and there's, in the way that Frazier wrote the script, there's an interconnectivity where all the characters are sort of related, and the closer you go to the top of that pyramid where we all sort of intersect, the more it heats up.
FBI, show us your hands!
There are themes in all the different storylines that appear in the movie that I felt were related and fascinating in their own right. So, you know, the fact that they all come together at the end and are relatively resolved, I found was, you know, just an interesting way to tell the story.
It's everyone's time to get out, you know, one way or another. everyone's going into sort of a state of exile, you know, whether it be emotional exile or physical exile that leads to, in some cases, death. So that parallels in all the principal characters in the piece. You know, not only Charlie's, but mine, and also Mario's character.
Your man is not in Tijuana. If a man spends a lot of money here, we know it.
We have Charlie Wright.
You know, everyone told me I was insane to come down here, and I understand why now more than ever.
Going to Tijuana is like going home for us. We have a very, very good relationship with the film community there. They want us to be there. They have basically rolled out the red carpet so that we could do anything that we wanted to do, get the shots that we needed to get in the time frame that we needed to get them. If there is any problem with Tijuana, it's the perception of it. The news media every day has another bad story about the border towns in Mexico. But once we got there, everybody had a great time, and it was a lot of fun. And Tijuana as a city is a great supporter of our work, and so we really have a pretty easy time of working down there, and we're able to get the look and feel that simply cannot be duplicated anywhere else but Tijuana.
Taking our production to Tijuana was quite an experience. We've done it a few times before, but still, each time it has its own challenges. You know, things as simple as getting props and guns or whatever it may be over, you know, across the border. It's not easy. But overall, the production ran smoothly, and we're very pleased with our experience there. We have some good friends in TJ, so it went really well.
Tijuana. You get a smile on my face when you mention Tijuana. A lot of people think Tijuana is very dangerous and not a place to work, or definitely not making a movie in this quality, at this level. We let them think that way. We find Tijuana to be very friendly, very film friendly. You can't beat the locations and the authentic look of this kind of a dramatical film, Latino film that you need. So I find Tijuana to be fascinating.
Yeah, shooting on location in Mexico, in Tijuana, it was, you hear all these stories and everybody's like, you're gonna gotta be careful, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and the do's and the don'ts were, you know, it was longer than the screenplay, but we all had a great time down there. The food is amazing, the people were amazing. There was an earthquake while we were filming down there, which was, you know, was another good excuse to grab a few more beers. Or tequila, whatever it was. I don't remember what we were drinking, it was something. It was wet. But I don't know, I liked it. It was really informal. Again, one of the signatures, I think, of, I guess, behind the scenes of this movie is that there's a great informality, and everybody's doing a real professional job, but it's just behind the scenes. It's just everybody's just, you know, hey man, hugs in the morning, how are you? Nice to see you. It was really cool. And Mexico is a great place to go, just to kick back. So to be working there was a first for me, and I was really excited to be there.
The spirit of the people that are here and are locals and who are working in our crew and are serving, you know, as actors or as background, they're fantastic, and they're energetic, and they're motivated, and I think they're incredibly they're an incredible force and positive energy. So I mean, I really enjoy shooting in Tijuana.
I have to say I've been very fortunate to shoot in locations all over the world, around Asia, around Europe, around Eastern Europe, in South America, and Tijuana is one of those places that actually becomes a character in the film. It's not just a backdrop. It's so different, it's so raw that it becomes a character in the film all by itself.
Why you come to us?
Well, it's not exactly official at this point.
A man steals $10 billion is not official.
We could just go. None of this matters anymore.
It matters. I might be coming back with a couple agents. Would appreciate your cooperation.
The difficult cast among all the rest, but was going to be who would play Charlie Wright. That character has to be someone that is incredibly soulful. You have to be able to put a camera on them and really see deep into their soul. Can't be someone that you know, was too young, couldn't be someone that's too old, had to be perfect. And when we saw Aidan Quinn, the light bulb went off in my head. Perfect. And then Andy Garcia, who is a wonderful, beautiful man who supported us through the last film and in this film, was absolutely perfect in the role. I got so much more from these actors, including Danny Pino, who embodied that character of Gabriel Garza. That was a very difficult role to play, and he really just nailed it. Gina, and of course, another difficult cast, which really hit it on the nail, was Claudia Ferri as Mary. That is a very difficult role to fill, a woman who is what we called on the edge of beauty, and is dealing with kind of the transitions into becoming an older woman. And it was a really, really difficult but beautiful cast.
Aidan, like I said, he's an exquisite actor. He's been like that, you know, since I first met him. You know, and known his work, I've been a great admirer of his work. And like I said, he's an actor that really compels you and personalizes his parts, and you can see the layers of his soul in everything he does. So I was very eager to come out and support him and work with him. And also Danny is someone that I suggested for the film. I had known Danny for many years. I've directed him in the film, and I've worked with him, and I've directed him on his show, Cold Case, and he's a very talented, very intelligent, soulful young actor, you know, and well, not so young anymore. But I was fortunate because I have a very close relationship with Danny that I thought we could infuse in this sort of brotherly relationship between the two Garza brothers. So he's an easy guy to respect and a very easy guy to love.
You know, Andy, he's just so there, he's so present, and so he's pretty easy to work with. And you know, right away we had the most intense scenes, or you know, the first scene is he's going away, I'm never going to see him again. You know, he's just such a soulful, wonderful man that you just have to look at him and then you're in the scene. You know, I found him just incredibly amazing to work with. And Danny was what a sweet guy. I'd never met him before. But, you know, I think Frazier really, you know, chose great actors. So, you know, when you have good actors and you're playing, the moments seem a lot easier to achieve, you know, the truthfulness, and which you really need in this movie especially.
For me, it was kind of like being a kid in a candy shop, to be in a scene with Andy and Aidan and watch them two, you know, essentially play jazz and riff off of each other. It was as much an education as it was, you know, a performance.
Complete pleasure. I've been a big fan of his, and I always felt like someday we're going to work together. And it was, I don't know, you just kind of, when you work with an actor like Andy, you just kind of, there's a sense, I think he likes to work in a way where you don't quite know what's going to happen, and I like to work that way too. And so the air is charged with possibility in every take.
My name is Jorge Garza. This is my town. I'm gonna assume you know who I am. I have a debt, very large debt. And the people that are holding that debt are not gonna wait for me to pay it anymore.
Yeah, Frazier is a first-time feature director, but he's not a first-time human being. So he's new to filmmaking, but he's not new to character or narrative, or and in this business, it's not just working with the lights or the camera or the script. It's working with people, and Frazier has astonishing people skills. He's got a cool about him. He's got class, and he's okay enough with self to take other ideas from whatever that source is and say, hey, you know, that's a good idea. It should be in the movie. Or hey, you know, actually, that's not going to work. I always say kids come through you and not from you, and then I think in a way movies come through you and not from you. And I think Frazier's wise enough to let the movie breathe and have its own voice, just like you do with children. You've got to let them breathe and have their own voice, and then you've got to see who they are and help them be the best that they can be. And so, instead of shepherding, guiding this movie, you know, he's been able to look at it and go, oh, look at what you're bringing as an actor. Look at what Aidan's bringing. Oh, look at Corbin brought some other stuff over here, and react to that as a living document. There's a grace. It takes a grace to do that.
Frazier, maybe more. Is he on the?
He's the writer-director.
Oh, he's not in transportation department. Oh, driver, no. No, working with Frazier, you know, Frazier and I have been friends for a little more than 20 years now. So I know him very well. We've, you know, produced a couple films together, and Frazier, you know, making his transition. Of course, he's been a writer, but making the natural transition to director. It was seamless for him. He did a fantastic job. You know, we sort of take for granted as a production team that this was his first time directing. And that was never obvious in any way. And he, you know, really delivered. He knows what he wants when he goes to set. He has his shots set up. He knows what he wants from his actors. So yeah, he did a great job. We're very proud of him.
He casts his actors and he just kind of lets us go and sees what we're going to do, and he's always like a little kid afterwards, like, oh, it's so much more than I thought. So that's very sweet. It's very sweet to see how excited he is about it.
Well, you know, I've worked with our Ellis before in a movie called La Linea that Ray Liotta and I did, and I enjoy his writing. I was stimulated by sort of the dilemma of the character that he presented for me to play.
We're close. It's not enough. Where next, Gabby? You be careful.
What's great about Frazier is that he's really open to finding it together. He's really open to really getting at what it's about and what's going on. And that's always, you look for that in a director.
Wow, the way Frazier, for me, was, I have to be honest, it was really the way he brought on how he introduced the character and what was going on underneath the skin of Mary, the role that I portrayed. It really jumped at me when I read the script. It endeared me. I was really taken by it. I called my daughter. I said, I just read this script, and this role in there is a gem. And she said, oh, Mom, that's great. That's a good sign. She was right.
Working with Frazier is a joy. He's a very gracious director. He's very giving, and he loves the collaborative spirit of filmmaking. He wants to hear ideas. He certainly knows the direction where he wants to go, but he's very excited by ideas. He likes the idea that his cast or his crew are caring and giving and having ideas, because in essence that means that we're all here to try and make something really good. And Frazier, you know, he calls me at the house and we discuss the role. It's a small part in the movie, but it's definitely lovely having a collaborative spirit with any director. And Frazier, I have to say, is a real gentleman and unbelievably talented. Working with AJ, our DP, I have to be honest with you, I want to work with him a lot more if I possibly can. If I ever have a say as far as, you know, who I get to work with, I'm definitely going to be saying, yeah, let's get AJ behind the camera, because he's really, really diligent. And, you know, he fights for his shots, but you only have to see his framing and his lighting to know why. And I think he's a great asset to the picture.
When we're making films like this, at the lower budget and lower resources, everything is your team. Everything is how your team works together and the commitment they ultimately have to the project itself. So we have had a fantastic experience, and it's all due to the group and the team, and all credit is due to the team that's been put together for this film.
Frazier found out that my brother had passed away, and the first thing he wrote me was, this next film is going to be dedicated to him. He said it's called Exodus. In the Bible, first person in Exodus was actually named Joshua. That was my brother's name. So when he passed away, it was like the movie became parallel to life.
Charlie Wright is making an exit from a couple different things, but ultimately it's about the final movement from one place to the next. It's an exodus from something to something.
I think the exodus, in terms of the Exodus of Charlie Wright, is about characters who, in their late 40s, early 50s are accomplished. Everyone's accomplished, everyone's seasoned, and yet that one last thing happens. It's like there's a Dylan song where he says, looking to do one good deed before she died.
I guess it means that greed is not necessarily good, as our Wall Street Michael Douglas would say, and that having all this money is going to come with problems, and everyone that's trying to find the money is finding more problems, and it's only when they let go of all the things around them and learn to live with themselves that they're free.
It's really about passing on the goodness in yourself to the next generation and giving that without thought for self, and giving that in a certain graceful way that really helps define the beauty of the film.
What is it to fear the night? Got to go underneath it all. What is it to fear the light? Got to go underneath it all.
Let's wait for the squeaky truck. Can it be any squeakier? It's the ice cream truck? I mean, what's going on in this shoot, man? I didn't order no ice cream truck. They're gonna cost us money? Hey, that dude, he just rolled it on his bicycle and left with a truck. I mean, is there security here? I mean, what's going on with the security at the lot, man? I mean, they film big shows like True Blood and you got guys rolling in on bikes, stealing ice cream trucks. It's random. Only in LA. All right, let's go, let's do it.